Welcome back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight I'm happy to do another documentary, and it's about Bruce Lee. I'm talking about Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon. This is really a good documentary. I really love this documentary. I seen it a lot when I was younger. It came out in 1993. It was produced and directed by Fred Weintraub, I believe, and Bob Wall, great martial artist. Bob Wall, Bruce Lee's friend, Chuck Norris's friend. He was one of the executive producers. And it's really a good documentary. I like it. Bruce Lee, The Curse of the Dragon. It's either Curse of the Dragon or The Curse of the Dragon. But I seen it quite a bit when I was younger. Just watched it, just rewatched it recently before I put this video together. And, you know, I think I like it even a little bit more now than I used to. I love Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, and I kind of like that a little bit better than this one, Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon. But now, upon rewatching both of them recently, I kind of like Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon a little bit better. And last time I watched it, it was free and available on YouTube to watch, and it's a great documentary. I like both about the same, if not this one just a little bit better than Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey. But Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, that was done by John Little, and I can't think of a better researcher about Bruce Lee or on Bruce Lee than John Little. There might be people who are close or about the same or close to him, but I can't really think of anyone better than John Little in terms of research, studying Bruce Lee, researching his life. But this documentary, I think one of the reasons I might like this better than I did before, and maybe just the same or a little bit better than Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, is because from start to finish, I mean, I love the found footage in Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey. I love that. But I've seen it over and over and over again, and I still love it. But it doesn't have quite the same impact as it did when I first saw it. Still love it, but I kind of like the style towards the whole style of the whole film. Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon. I like the style from beginning to end. But Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, as much as I love that, it does focus on the found footage for quite a while, especially towards the midpoint end of that film. It focuses on the found footage, which is great. I'm glad because that's what they found the footage. They found it in a warehouse or storage facility somewhere in Seattle. That's where I grew up, by the way. Not in Seattle. I was born in Renton, which is next to Seattle, Renton, Washington. I don't live in Renton anymore, but that's where I grew up. But they found it in a storage unit, I believe, the footage, and they showed that in Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey. Love it. But I kind of like Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon a little bit better because not only does it show clips from his films, not like the found footage or anything like that, I'm not talking about that, but just different clips from his various films that he made, pretty much all his films. And there's more people interviewed. I think one of the reasons I like it a little bit more is that there's more people, there's more clips and snippets because it shows it throughout the whole film. Little clips of interviews from more people that knew him, trained with him, worked with him, researched him throughout the whole film from beginning to end. And I like that. Love the found footage, but I've gotten used to seeing the found footage, but it's Bruce Lee's story, his biography, and different people's opinions about his passing, his death, from beginning to end, especially towards the end when they get to that end of his life. And then it talks about Brandon Lee and his death quite a bit. and it has interviews from clips of interviews, small little clips from multiple people in here. Chuck Norris, obviously Linda Lee, Dan Inosanto, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob Wall. Talks about the fights that he had on Enter the Dragon. Freddie Weintraub talks about the different challenges, the real life fights and challenges that he had when he was making Enter the Dragon, which I really enjoyed that. I really liked hearing those stories about people challenging him, and then he would take them. He would take them all. He was better than all of them. The people who challenged him, you'd have an extra, like Freddie Weintraub. He said, I used to watch him like a hawk because he was always being challenged and he was beating these guys up. And there would be a guy that would, like an extra or someone on the set that would come up to him and challenge him, like in the Old West. They would draw kind of a line, and then not, or they wouldn't really draw it, but they would tap their feet 3 times, and 3 times like a challenge, and challenge Bruce Lee to a fight. Come up, tap 3 times for a challenge, and then Bruce Lee would go over there and take the guy out. And then Freddie Weintraub, he said that one guy we were about to shoot, we were about to start filming, one guy challenged him, and I said, Bruce, we don't have time for this. And then he said, it's okay, I'll be right back. And then sure enough, he went over there, pop, 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 knocked the guy out. And then we started the filming process. So when I heard stories like that, it made me so pumped about this documentary. And Bob Wall said that there was an extra who challenged him during filming. He witnessed Bruce Lee really beat the heck out of a guy who challenged him. Pretty fair-sized guy, Bob Wall said, and he tried to hurt Bruce. And then Bruce Lee opened up on him and just beat the heck out of him. Just pummeled the guy, and then finally got him into a knee trap, got him into a submission hold, and the guy didn't want anymore. And Bruce Lee bloodied up his face too when he had him in that submission hold, and the guy quit. And then Bob Wall says he wasn't vindictive. He didn't fire the guy, but he let him know who the boss was, and he let him continue to work. But Bruce Lee gave him a beating. And so it's stories like that, and little clips of interviews from people who knew him and watched him and worked out with him that I really, really enjoyed. There's more of that in here than there was in Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey. As great as that documentary is, and the found footage, and Bruce Lee's vision for Game of Death, I love that. But I'm a little more excited about this one. Now, if I would have seen them both at the same time, because back then I kind of chose Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, more found footage. It's new, more excited. Now that that's kind of worn off, I kind of like Bruce Lee, The Curse of the Dragon a little bit better. But to each his own, maybe one day I'll rank them. I'm not sure, the different documentaries that I've seen, but this is such a good documentary. And concerning Bruce Lee's death, there's um, a few opinions in here that are expressed that I might disagree with, because I do think that he most likely died from a negative reaction, a bad reaction that took place because of the medication that he was given for his headache. Went to sleep, never got up. You know the story. Those who follow Bruce Lee know the story. I do tend to believe that. I do think that he was one of those rare people that would have that reaction to that particular type of medication that probably caused his death. I do lean towards that theory the most. But there's a couple people in here who disagree with that. There's one guy who thought that he was assassinated or hit somehow. I don't think so. I don't think so. But my mind is open, but I do think that he had a reaction to that medication. And this documentary is really good. It's sad. Talks about Brandon Lee's death and those circumstances as well. Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon, so it talks about the curse. I find this documentary a little bit more mysterious and a little bit more interesting than Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, but they're both interesting. They both talk about his evolution as a martial artist. They both talk about how he changed and how he adapted his martial arts, and how he only used what worked and really, really left systems. I don't think Bruce Lee ever, though, was locked in a system. I think he always had an open mind, my own take on it. But he, more and more as time went on, he made sure that he just left what really didn't work. Even if maybe it would work, but it didn't work very, very well, he would still leave that behind and work and went with the best. Definitely leave behind what didn't work, and often even leave behind what maybe could work, and just took what absolutely would work in a street fight. Mostly, I think he focused on real life fighting, street fighting, survival, and how to really express yourself and how to defend yourself when it really counted on the street. So both documentaries go into that quite well, I believe. They both cover his life. They both cover a lot of territory. If you are interested in Game of Death and the found footage and what Bruce Lee's original vision for that movie was, you'll probably like Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey better. But if you, from start to finish, if you like just his whole life being expanded upon and talked about from beginning to end, um, and some of the mystery behind his passing, you'll probably like Bruce Lee, The Curse of the Dragon, a little bit better. They're both great, though. I would highly recommend both documentaries. Love them both. Always have. I used to like Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, a little bit better than this one, but now I kind of like this one a little bit better. And maybe it's just my mood. I just saw it, but probably because of the being pumped and excited about the found footage, that wearing off a little bit kind of makes me like this one a little more. So from beginning to end, it pretty much talks about his life, the people who knew him. There's actually more interviews in this one than there was in Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, in terms of just interviewing more people, more clips of those interviews. And they're small little clips. And people give their theories, different people who knew him, people who are um, researchers, people who are authors. Doesn't mean I agree with all of it, but this is a little bit more variety in here. And if you like to spice things up a little bit, and if you like a little bit more intrigue and mystery, this one I think you'll probably like better. But they're both really well researched, I think. But they allow people to make their case. They allow people to say what they think. It might not be the opinions of those who made the film, but they allow people to say what they think, and that's interesting. I think this one's a little bit more interesting. But Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, that's a classic. That'll always be a classic, and I think this is a classic too. This one it came out in 1993. Before, I mean, that was quite a few years before Bruce Lee, A Warrior's Journey, which came out in the year 2000, even 2000, I believe. I enjoyed both. I highly recommend both of them. The music in both, I think, fit. They're both good. George Takei, he narrates Bruce Lee, The Curse of the Dragon. From Star Trek, George Takei, he narrates it. But yeah, there's so many interviews, so many different people in here, as there was with the other documentaries too that I've seen. But I think more people are interviewed in this one. James Colburn, like I said, Chuck Norris, Bob Wall, Dan Inosanto, Freddie Weintraub, multiple people. I forgot all their names, I'm sorry, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, John Saxon talks about the circumstances, and people he trained with talk about the circumstances before his death. So this is very interesting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really liked rewatching it. It had been a few years since I'd seen this from beginning to end, but I rewatched it recently before doing this video, and I liked it. I highly recommend Bruce Lee, Curse of the Dragon. It's one of the best documentaries. It's got to be right up there. Right up there. It's really a great one. This has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe. It helps me. It helps the channel. Keeps me, inspired to do more. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. They'll just send you a notification when a new video comes out. That's what the subscribing means. But this is a really good documentary. And share this video and let other people know about it, hype it up and pump it up. And this has been the Late Night Review. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.